Hi there, I'm Amanda Skelton, an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today I'd like to show you how to make this beautiful card. It's a really good card for masculine cards, and it is using the Adventurous Sky bundle. So you've got the stamps here, so it's quite nice because you've got a couple of different variants of actually 3 different variants of the planes, and then you have the matching dies. And the dies then will make this lovely detail here. So I'm going to use the dies rather than most of the stamped images, but I'll use a few of the stamped images as well for the other detail. So that's what we're going to use today. I have pre-cut a few things already just to make it a bit quicker for you. But we're going to put this, I'm going to do it in a slightly different colourway. So I'm going to do it in a grey. So I'm using the what am I using? I'm using the Smoky Slate Grey, and I'm using the Merry Merlot Burgundy. So the papers that go with this set are beautiful. So there is a whole sheet which gives you sections and sort of like little what do you call them, tags, which are really good, so you can make a card with that. You've got these little panels here which are really nice. As you can see, you've got the skies there, and then you've got lots of other colours as well, greys, blues, and then the copper clay, which is a really nice colour that goes with it all as well. So as always, two-sided, which is nice. You've got all the details. So I'm actually going to use probably the reverse side. So this is the piece I've cut, so that's really nice detail as well, but I think that's just going to be too busy for what I want to put on top of it. So I'm going to turn it off around and use the grey sort of brickwork colour instead. Okay, so what do we need to make this card? We need half a piece of A4 Smoky Slate cardstock, scored in half to make your card base. So I can fold that on there now. Then you want a piece of the pattern paper, and that wants to be 3 1/4 inch by 3 1/4 inch by 4 1/4 inch. And then you want some coloured card and some white card for the detail here. Okay, so the first thing I've done on here, and again I've sort of teamed it all with the Smoky Slate colours like this. So I don't know if you can see this detail here. So one of the stamps is like a bit of a detail there, so we're going to add some detail to the actual base of the card. So I folded it in half so that I can go up to the edges, otherwise you're going to go over to the back. So I'm going to do that first. So I'm using the same colour ink as I'm using the cardstock, and it does show up, it does come up darker, which is quite nice. So I'm just going to make sure that's nice and folded. And then you're going to have a panel in the middle, so you don't have to go all the way around, just you want to do the edges, just to make sure that and I'm just going to sort of stamp sort of quite randomly really. Let's do one up there, so we've got some detail there. So it doesn't even matter if it goes over each other. So there we go. So if I put my panel on top of it, we've got a little bit of a gap there, so I'm just going to fill that with the narrow side of that, just so it doesn't look quite so obvious. There you go. So I'm quite happy with that. So first thing you can do then is, once you've done that, is you can use the pattern paper that you've already cut, and then you can place that in the middle, which I think is about there. Okay, that looks quite a nice colour combination. So as I said, I have pre-cut these items. So we have got the 2 dies that make the main part of the plane, and we're just going to stick the grey one on top of the coloured one. So put the glue on the tail, the barrel. Don't put it on the top bit because that's not going to stick onto anything, and the wheels, so that will then stick onto there. So I'm going to use liquid glue. It'll give you some manoeuvrability. I'm going to use my silicone mat so that I can position it and not get glue all over my other mat. So a little bit on the tail, some on the wheels, and some on the barrel bit here. Okay, so you can just move it around. You can, if you look at the back of it, you can see if it's over, gone over or not. So that's about right there. And then the other thing I'm going to do is, so one of the pieces on the die is this one here, and this allows you to have like the banner ribbon coming off the back of it. Now this is quite a long piece, and because of the size of the card, so American cards are bigger, but for UK sort of A5 cards, you just want to cut this end bit, the triangle bit. So I have already pre-cut that piece, and you don't need it to be that full length because we're going to cut it off really short, and we're going to just place it literally just behind there. So let me glue that. So I want that to be as short as possible. Okay, so that one's done. And then we're also going to put but I'm going to put that on afterwards because I want to make sure that it doesn't go at the wrong angle, so it doesn't come off the side of the card. So I shall do that in a minute. Yeah, so that's that for now. So let's do some stamping. So let's put that to the side, put that one to the side. So now we're going to stamp the happy birthday. So there is a die for this banner. I mean, you can sort of cut it yourself if you want to, but there is quite a nice long banner as part of the dies, this one here. So I will be using that in a minute. And the cloud to stamp on this phrase, and also the clouds. So I've got some extra white card, and I'm going to stamp the clouds in the smoky slate grey ink. And then I've got one of the larger ones. So this stamped image will actually fit inside this die cut, but because I want to put my sentiment in there, I'm going to leave that blank. So yes, we're going to use these two. So let's just stamp the small one as well. And then I'm going to use the Merry Merlot ink for the sentiments. Oops. So in fact, I'm going to need another piece of white. That piece will do. So this happy birthday that comes with the does it come with that? Why am I not seeing it? Oh yes, happy birthday. That comes with it. It fits nicely into that little banner. So I'm going to put it towards the left hand side, and when I die cut it, I want this little flag bit to be quite close to that, and then I'm going to cut this off because the actual size of the die cut again is too long to fit on the card, so we're going to cut it down. But to start with, I need to do the happy birthday. I haven't done that very straight on there, but that's fine because I'm going to die cut it. Oh, and while I'm here, I also want to do the plain and simple. Actually, somebody made a comment about this phrase, actually. So it says, "You're the best, plain and simple." So I hadn't really thought about it, but somebody said, that sounds like you're telling the person that they're plain and simple. So I sort of could see what they're saying there, but I hadn't seen it that way before. But hopefully most people will read it the other way, that it's a good thing. Right, so let's just put that one on there. So I've already cut this out. It's up to you whether you rather die cut it first or whether you'd rather do the sentiment and then to make sure it fits. So actually, I'm going to have to go in front of the camera a minute. There you go. So that's those two done. Okay, so I'm now going to get the cut and emboss. I'm going to get that piece. And I need the cloud dies, which is that one and that one. So let's just get the die machine. Okay, I've done that one, so what have I just done with the card? There we go. It's up to you if you want to do them both at the same time, but if it's hard to get them into position, then you can do them one at a time. So that's one. Using the smaller die, we'll do the second cloud. Oh, that moved. That stayed in place. So our second cloud, and then the last thing we're going to do is cut out the sentiment. So like I said, you want the back end of the die to be close to the happy birthday. I want to stand up to make sure that it's straight. I think about there is right. Yeah, that's not too bad. And then we're going to cut that in a minute. Okay, so that's all the die cutting we need. So we can get rid of that one for now. Okay, so we have our card base. We have everything stamped. We have our plain. We have our clouds. And our propeller. Okay, so now we can start putting it together. So what you want to do is put the plain as far right as you can, because you're going to need the space for the happy birthday. So if you see that that's just and if you do it at more of an angle, you've got to this corner, so you give yourself even more space as well. So I am literally going to snip quite close to there. And then that's going to butt up to the little holder there. So I can see that's going to fit on nicely. So I'm just going to, so I'm left that in place so I know roughly where to put the plain back in place. You can raise this up if you want to and put it on sticky pads. So that wants to go. I'll do a little bit more of an angle. There you go. So then I'm going to put the banner again, because I've made it go a bit lower, it will fit on just nicely there. Okay, then we've got the two clouds, so I'm just going to place those slightly offset to each other. So I'm going to put one up there, and it sort of shows up better being on the grey card rather than on the patterned. But that's fine, you can put them wherever you like. So I'm just going to put those like that, overlapped. Then I'm going to, so I've raised this one just to give it a bit more detail. So I'm going to get some sticky pads. Take off the protection layer. Okay, so just place that at the bottom here. It's just nice bit raised. So just two more things to do. One more thing is to put the rotor on, so I'm going to put that pretty much so that it goes vertical, just so it doesn't stick out from the, just put a little bit of a dot of glue on the center point there, and then just place that one on. And then the other thing is they've got these gorgeous, what they called industrial trinkets. These are beautiful. I don't know if you can see that. So it's got a nice detail. In fact, you could even use it the other way as well. It almost looks like a bit like top of a nut or a bolt. So you could use those both ways. And then what I do is I'm just going to add a detail onto the tail and stick one of these trinkets on. And being grey and silver, that just goes really nicely. So give that a good push down. And that should be enough to keep that in place. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Like I said, this Adventurous Sky is a really nice set. It's got some really nice things, and you could just even do like backgrounds with these different plain images, which will be really nice. And this is quite a nice background pattern as well to use. I've just got the matching dies, so I hope you've enjoyed that. So two very different colourways. I think maybe the plain pops maybe a little bit more on this one, but two different colourways. I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, you can find me at Amanda's Crafted Cards on Pinterest and on YouTube, and you can find the products on the Stampin' Up website at amandascraftedcards.stampinup.net. So I hope you enjoyed that. The new catalogue is now out, which is where this product set is from. So if you want a catalogue, also leave a message on the, leave a comment on the video, and I'll happily send you one. I shall speak to you later. Take care. Bye bye.